and she just made cupcakes for everyone. And I was like, wow, who is this lady? I mean, she's the sweetest lady anyway. Anyways, this is what it's like to be on stage. I don't think I like it. I don't think I like it very much. I can't see anybody. Anyways, so I recently got married and wanted to go on a cruise to Alaska with my husband and our family. And I knew she did the travel. So I booked it with her, and she did everything. But I was like, Amy, I need this for these people and this for these people. My dad doesn't have a passport. He has a green card. And how are we going to get to Alaska? Because there's and all this other stuff. But she took care of everything. It was back and forth. And can you put this on this credit card and this on this credit card? And I don't know what to do. And done. But what about our plane? Done everything. And then when we got on the ship and we walked inside, it was like, the room was decorated, and there was a photo album in there, and it was the sweetest thing. I didn't even expect that from her. And I never thought a travel agent would go above and beyond for somebody that, she brought cupcakes for one time. So I felt I wanted to say thank you. Thank you, Amy.
That was Sonia Avila. Give Sonia a big hand. That was her first time on stage. Was that your first time on stage? That was great. That was great. That was. I think you beat me out of my next job. I think you did. You were great. You were natural. That was great. Who would like to come up next? Don't be shy. Just raise your hand if you'd like to come up next. Who's coming down? Who's coming down? What's that? Okay, back row. Come on down. Come on down. Yes. And your name is, sir? Your name? Artis. Artis with no T at the end. Got it. Nice to meet you, Artis. Nice to meet you. No T at the end.
You mean I got to laugh? Wow. And I am not a comedic, believe me. All right. Yeah, thanks, Jeff. I've been sitting back here and I have listened to everyone's story, how they know Amy. My story with Amy is that she opened my eyes to the world. Amy was a great lady in sending you places that you'd never expect. And Jeff can believe that because he knows. I'm not one to fly, so. I met a guy, yes, I did say guy, came in our restaurant. We hit it off, didn't say anything about it. 3 months later, he came back in. This was like after New Year's. And I wasn't supposed to work. He wasn't supposed to fly. Make a long story short, we got together, we talked about things, we sat up about 5 hours, just really got to know one another. So I thought about going down to where he lives. Well, little did I know he lived in Australia, and I'm not the one to fly. I was like, really? So I was talking to Jeff. Jeff told me about Amy and her business, so I said, okay. So she booked me a flight, and I said, well, I'm not one to fly. She said, oh, it'd be great. Don't worry, you'll have a good time. I said, really? I said, 14 hours on a plane? I don't think so. She said, trust me. I said, okay, I will. So got on a plane, got down there, was gone for 6 weeks, marvelous time. Got back home, and the first person I called was Amy. And I said, I must tell you this. You made me feel so good about that flight, and just to leave LA and go somewhere I've never been, I was overwhelmed. And so from that point on, anytime I needed anything, I went to Amy for it. And I always would let her know, I need to go back to Australia. I'm going for this time. I'd tell Jeff. Jeff would even bring me a ticket and my reservation to work. He said, oh, here's your, Amy said, here, give this to you. So I said, oh, okay, thanks. But the other thing I loved about Amy is that she never, ever made you feel uncomfortable. She was always there for you for the slightest things. I love the story Sonia just told because that was the first thing in my head when she went into her room and she didn't expect to see, photo book and all this. I said, that's the person Amy was. She went far and beyond out of her way for you for anything. She didn't make you feel like you weren't worth anything. You were worth the world to her, no matter who you were as an individual person. And I will tell you this, what I learned from Amy is that for her to open my eyes to see what was out there in the world, and I like to do things, but to go that far and push me to go somewhere I never would have thought I would be, it makes me feel good to know there's always someone like her around in the world, but there's no one to ever be as good as she was. And thank you.
That was Artis. Thank you, Artis.